All right, kids, let's go ahead and solve this problem together. I'm going to be modeling what you should be doing while you're going through problems that are similar to this, as well as problems that you will have that use the same type of skills, right? Remember, today we're going to be ordering and comparing all rational numbers, whether they're positive or negative. We're going to be using our two strategies, which is absolute value reasoning, as well as our number line to help us do that. So as I'm reading, I'm going to be annotating using cues. Remember, where we circle any numbers, we underline the question, we box any action words, then we eliminate information we don't need and solve. I'm not going to really worry about the elimination and solving. This first part is the main point when it comes to annotating our word problem. So you should read it twice. I'm going to read it through one time, and you're going to see my understanding as I'm reading through it. So Sam has $10. Right off the bat, I see the word has, and this is actually an action word. Has, and I see a number, $10. Has tells me that this is going to be a positive 10, which is important because we're working with rational numbers, which can be positive or negative. That's money that he has currently. He owes, oh, another action word. He owes his friend Hank $250. The reason why owes is boxed, it's an action word, which tells me that because he owes, this is a debt, this is a negative number. So that 250 is actually a negative. All right, he owes, oh, he also owes somebody else money. Man, this person owes a lot of people money. He owes his sister $1.75. Okay, also another negative number. Consider the three rational numbers related to the story of Sam's money using two different strategies. So I'm going to use two different strategies. This is also a number, so I'm going to make sure I circle that. And I'm also going to underline over here. I'm using two different strategies. I want to write and order the numbers from least to greatest. I circle least to greatest. That's important information. I want to write that again, from least to greatest, because that's the order I want them to be in. Once again, as I look at my numbers, I have a positive 10 because he has $10. Sam does. He owes his friend Hank $250. That's a negative $250 because that is a debt. It means he owes somebody money. And then he owes his sister $1.75. Now, when we're talking about the two strategies that we're using, one is one that we're very familiar with. It's the number line. And the second is absolute value reasoning. And AV just stands for absolute value. All right. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with putting this on a number line. We've had plenty of practice for this. And if this is something you're still struggling with, you'll probably see it again on our reteach lesson for Wednesday. So I'm going to go ahead and show this on a number line so you can see what this should have looked like, which is very easy for us to compare because we know on a number line, as you move to the right, our numbers get bigger. So we can just write them in order from left to right to be from least to greatest. So give me one. All right, I went ahead and set up my number line for me to appropriately plot these rational numbers on them. One thing I do want you to notice is that my positive side of my number line and my negative side of my number line are two different scales. This is set up to 10 wholes because I wanted to plot a positive $10. And my negative side is just up to negative 3 wholes. I put a negative here because the most that Sam owes is $2.50. So I need to go a little bit past $2 and got to 3. So that's why they're different. And these are all wholes. Notice how these are broken down into 10 equal parts for each of my wholes because I'm plotting decimals. Remember, when we're plotting decimals, just break up your wholes into 10 equal parts and it makes your life that much easier. So for $10, I already can see that it's going to be here. Here's my $10 on the right side of my number line because it's positive. Negative 250, negative $2.50. I know that's between owing $2 and owing $3. Get to $2, count to the left for 50 cents, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 is right in the middle. Here is negative 250. Then I have a negative $1.75. I know that's between owing $1 and owing $2. It's going to be right here in this hole. Once again, count to 70. So I have $1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And because it's 75, it's between 70 and 80. So it's going to be right about here. $1.75. And as you can see, I already have them in order from least to greatest. I just go from left to right because we know that as you go to the right, our numbers get bigger. So negative 250, negative $1.75, and then 10. Now, the second part of this is using absolute value reasoning, right? What I did just right there is go ahead and use my number line to help me order them. by seeing where they fall on the number line and seeing where they are compared to each other made it much easier. But for absolute value reasoning, I need to look at their absolute values. Now, here is where we need to understand how positive negatives work. We know that when comparing positives to negatives, positives are always going to be greater. So I don't even have to worry about the positive side. So I know already when comparing 10 to the rest of my rational numbers, 10 is greater because it's a positive and the rest are negatives. Now, when it comes to our two negative numbers, now we can actually use absolute value reasoning in order to prove why one is greater than the other. Now, as we look at it, we can take their absolute values, right? The absolute value of $1.75 is just $1.75. That's how far it is from zero. The absolute value of $2.50 is $2.50, or only $2.50. Now, we can see already that the absolute value of owing $1.75 is actually closer or lower to zero or closer to zero than $2.50. And we can actually visually see that here on our number line. So what we know from what we know about absolute value negative rules is that the closer to zero or the smaller the absolute value, the greater the number is. So I know negative 175 is, oops, not spelled is correctly, is greater than 250, than negative 250, because it's closer to zero. Or you could also say, and I'm going to put it right down here. Or you can also say that negative $1.75 is greater than negative 250 because it has a smaller absolute value. Because it does, because it's closer to zero. Either one works. Use both. There's gonna be some questions just like this. A lot of it will just be comparing, but it's good to see this as a word problem so that you know exactly what to be doing. Notice how much work I did to get this set up, which I would love to see on your own paper. So at this point, Kipsters are going to go ahead and do your independent practice. I wish you the best of luck and hope you guys rock it.